Welcome, curious minds, to The Blueprint for Brilliant Builders. Today, we're diving into a fascinating idea that can change how we approach everything, from learning a new game to building a magnificent project. Have you ever felt like there's just too much to learn, too many books, too many videos, too many instructions, and you don't even know where to begin?
Oh, absolutely, Jamie. All the time. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. You just get overwhelmed and then nothing gets done. You just stay stuck, staring at all the possibilities, but never actually making a move.
Exactly. That feeling of being stuck, what some call information overload or analysis paralysis, is a universal challenge. We think we need to know everything before we can do anything. But what if I told you there's a different way? A way that focuses on moving forward, even when you don't have all the answers?
That sounds amazing, but also a little scary. How can you move forward if you don't know everything? Isn't knowledge power?
Knowledge is power, Alex, but only when it's put into action. Think of it like a treasure map. Having the map is great, but if you just keep studying it, admiring the beautiful drawing, and never take a single step towards the X, you'll never find the treasure. What we're talking about today is called lean learning, and it's all about making that first step, then the next, and the next to unlock your full potential.
Lean learning? I like the sound of that. So less of the overwhelming knowledge, more of actually doing things?
Precisely. And to truly understand how it works, let's start with an incredible story. Imagine a classroom, but not just any classroom. This one is filled with incredibly energetic, curious individuals, none older than 5 years old. One sunny day, they had a problem. Ants. Lots of them, which meant they couldn't eat lunch inside. And the California sun was just too hot to eat outside.
Oh no, what did they do? Did the teacher just tell them to deal with it?
Not at all. Their amazing teacher, Miss Jenny, turned it into a project. She gathered them around a whiteboard, gave them sticky notes, and asked, "How can we solve this? How can we eat lunch comfortably outside?"
Wow, a brainstorming session with 5-year-olds? I can only imagine the ideas.
You're right. There were some wild ones. Eating the ants for lunch, going to a fast food restaurant every day. But Miss Jenny wrote them all down, no judgment. After a lively discussion, they all agreed on one thing. They needed a sunshade. They decided to build one.
And they actually built it? Little kids? How? Did they just know how to build things?
That's the magic of it. They didn't know everything about construction. They didn't read engineering textbooks. What they did was amazing. Miss Jenny asked parents for donations: old blankets, PVC pipes, duct tape, sandbags. The next morning, a pile of materials appeared. And by the end of the day, these brilliant young builders, working together, had constructed two 8-foot-tall sunshades. It was incredible. They identified a problem, figured out a simple solution, gathered just what they needed, built it, and then enjoyed their lunch comfortably.
That's such a powerful story. It makes me think about all the times I've wanted to start something, but I just get bogged down trying to research every single detail. Like when I wanted to learn to bake a cake, and I ended up reading 5 cookbooks and watching 10 videos before I even bought an egg.
You've hit on the core difference, Alex. Lean learning is all about tackling problems like those young builders. It's a process, not a rigid set of rules, and it boils down to 4 simple yet powerful steps. Think of it like baking a cake, but in a much smarter, more efficient way. Ready for the recipe?
Lay it on me, Chef Jamie.
All right, step 1. Identify what you want to accomplish next. This is like deciding which cake you want to bake. You don't need to know how to bake every cake in the world. You just need to pick one specific cake, maybe a simple chocolate one, and focus on that single goal. The young builders didn't try to build a skyscraper, they focused on a sunshade. This is about selective curiosity. Instead of getting overwhelmed by all the possible cakes or all the information on every type of dessert, you choose one thing that truly ignites your interest and serves a real purpose.
So it's about having a clear, small target, not a giant, blurry one.
Exactly. If you're learning to play a musical instrument, don't try to learn every song in every style. Identify one song you really want to play, or one chord you want to master. If you're trying to get better at a sport, don't try to perfect every single move at once. Identify one specific skill you want to improve, like dribbling the ball better or serving faster. This focused start helps filter out all the noise and endless possibilities.
That makes so much sense. I always get lost in the noise. So once I know what cake I want to bake, what's next?
Step 2. Learn only what you need to move forward. This is where most of us get stuck, isn't it? We think we need to read every cookbook, learn every baking technique, understand the science of yeast, and so on before we even preheat the oven. But with Lean Learning, you only look up the ingredients and steps for that specific chocolate cake you chose. You don't need to become a master baker before you make your first cake.
So it's not about reading the entire culinary encyclopedia, just the recipe page?
Precisely. The preschoolers didn't need to study architecture, they just needed to know how to connect PVC pipes and drape blankets. If you're learning to code, you don't need to know every programming language and algorithm. You learn just enough to write one line of code that does one specific thing you need for your chosen project. Or if you're like me, trying to finally understand how to garden, you don't need to know everything about soil pH and botanical classifications. You learn just enough to plant one type of vegetable in one small patch.
That's a huge relief. It feels so much more manageable. Like I can actually do that. So I've picked my cake and I've looked up just the recipe. Now what?
Step 3. Implement what you've learned. This is where the magic happens, Alex. This is where you stop reading the recipe and actually start baking. You crack the eggs, mix the batter, put it in the oven. The young builders didn't just talk about the sunshade, they got their hands dirty, taped the pipes together, and hung the blankets. This step is about taking action, even if it feels a little messy or imperfect.
So this is where I actually make the cake, even if it's not perfect the first time.
Exactly. Think of it like playing a video game. You learn a new move, maybe a special combo. You don't just read about it, you go into the game and try it out. You implement it. You might fumble it a few times, but you're doing it. This active application is what truly cements the learning. It moves the knowledge from your head into your hands, into your experience.
I can feel the difference already. Instead of just consuming information, I'm actually creating something. It's empowering.
And that brings us to step 4. Review and repeat to refine the process, deepen understanding, and enhance skill. After you bake that first chocolate cake, you taste it, right? Was it too sweet, not sweet enough? Did it rise properly? You reflect on what happened, you learn from it, and next time you adjust. Maybe you add a little less sugar, or you bake it for 5 minutes longer. The preschoolers saw how their sunshades worked during lunch. Did they provide enough shade? Were they sturdy? They could always adjust and improve it for the next day.
So it's not just about doing it once, but constantly making it better?
Yes, this is the iterative process, like building with Legos. You build a section, look at it, maybe take a piece off and put a different one on because it works better. You're always reviewing your progress, asking yourself, what worked, what didn't, what should I try differently next time? This constant feedback loop is how you move from just knowing a little to being proficient to eventually becoming a master. Mastery isn't about being perfect from day one. It's about consistently taking that next right step and learning from each attempt.
That makes so much sense. It takes the pressure off having to get it right the first time. It's like a journey where every step, even a misstep, is part of the learning.
Precisely. Let's connect these 4 steps to some of those other important ideas we heard about. The text mentioned selective curiosity over inspiration overload. That's our first step, identifying. Instead of having a fridge full of every possible ingredient and not knowing what to cook, you choose one meal you're truly curious about, then only buy what you need for that. This filters out the information deluge.
So no more aimlessly scrolling through endless online recipes, just picking one and going for it.
Exactly. And then there's action over information. This is our third step, implementing. It's the difference between watching countless chefs on TV and actually getting into your kitchen to chop vegetables. You'll never truly learn to cook just by watching. You have to do it. The hands-on experience is irreplaceable.
I definitely spend way too much time in the information gathering phase.
We all do, Alex. Another point was about champions, mentors, coaches, and a community. Imagine you're trying to learn a new sport. You can read all the rule books, watch all the highlight reels, but having a coach to show you one specific technique, or a teammate to practice with, or a whole community cheering you on, that's a game changer. These champions aren't there to give you all the information, but to guide your next step and provide support when you implement it.
So they're like helpful guides on your learning journey, not just walking encyclopedias.
Beautifully put. And then we have protecting your progress. Think of it like tending a garden. You plant a seed, you water it, you give it sun, but you also need to protect it from weeds, pests, or a playful puppy. In learning, distractions are those weeds. Protecting your progress means setting aside dedicated time, turning off notifications, and creating a space where you can focus on your identify, learn, implement, review cycle without constant interruptions. It's building a little fence around your learning garden.
I definitely need a bigger fence around my brain sometimes. What about those times when things just feel really hard, or I don't want to do the tough parts?
That's where voluntary force functions come in from Chapter 5. This is about choosing challenges that make you grow. It's like signing up for a charity race, knowing that if you don't train, you won't make it. The race itself becomes the force function that pushes you to run, even on days you'd rather stay home. Or, in a video game, it's choosing a harder difficulty setting, not just for fun, but because you know it'll force you to get better at your strategies and reflexes. You choose to put yourself in a situation that demands action and growth.
That sounds intense, but I can see how it would work. You create a situation where you have to learn.
Exactly. It's a powerful way to accelerate learning and skill acquisition. Then, Chapter 6 talks about persist or pivot. This is crucial in the review step. Imagine you're trying to build a complex Lego model, and a section just isn't working. Do you keep trying to force those two specific pieces together, persist? Or do you realize they're incompatible, set them aside, and find a different solution, or even redesign that part of the model? It's about honest reflection. Is this approach working, or am I pushing on a pull door? Knowing when to change course is just as important as knowing when to push through.
I've definitely wasted a lot of time pushing on those pull doors in my life. So how do all these small steps lead to something big, like mastery?
That's micromastery and quantum leaps from Chapter 7. Micromastery is mastering those small, consistent gains, like perfecting that one chord on the Dakar or consistently making that one shot in basketball. You stack those small wins one on top of the other, and suddenly you look back and realize you've mastered a whole song or a whole set of skills. A quantum leap can happen when all those micro-masteries suddenly click, or you make a bold move that pushes you far ahead. It's not about staying in the shallows, but getting the most return for your effort, going deep on what matters, and letting those small steps lead to big jumps.
That's inspiring. It feels less like an unreachable mountain and more like a series of hills I can climb, one after another.
And finally, Alex, the ultimate way to deepen your own learning and truly understand something is to teach it to someone else. That's Chapter 8, From Learning to Leading. Many people think teaching is what you do after you've mastered something, but in lean learning, teaching is part of the learning process itself. When you try to explain how to bake that chocolate cake to a friend, you realize all the gaps in your own understanding. You have to clarify your thoughts, organize the steps, and anticipate their questions. It reinforces what you know and makes your knowledge much stronger. It's also how you offer value to others, sharing your skills and insights.
So if I teach my friend how to bake the chocolate cake, I'll actually understand baking even better myself?
Exactly. It solidifies your learning in a way that just consuming information never can. It transforms knowledge into wisdom and action, and that's the true power of lean learning.
Wow, Jamie, this has been an incredible journey. I always thought learning meant collecting as much information as possible, like a giant library in my head. But now I see it's more like being a brilliant builder or a focused chef. It's about picking a small, clear goal, gathering just enough to get started, taking action, and then constantly refining and improving. It's less overwhelming and much more empowering. It feels like I can really go out and do things now, not just think about doing them.
That's the big idea, Alex. Lean learning is about embracing a mindset that allows you to adapt and thrive in our fast-changing world. It's about solving the problems in front of you right now with intentional action and continuous growth. It's not about waiting for perfection, but about making progress one smart step at a time. And if those curious young builders can do it, so can all of us.
Thank you, Jamie, for shedding light on such a powerful concept. I feel ready to start building my next big idea, one lean step at a time.
And we encourage all of you, our curious listeners, to embrace this approach. Keep asking questions, keep taking action, and keep building your amazing lives. Thanks for listening.
Keep exploring.
Goodbye for now.